My name is Curse Prince, and thank you for allowing me to expand your mind. I want to talk about perfection today and how perfection leads to uniformity. Imperfection leads to evolution. There has to be cycles of life and death. There has to be some contrast. Without it, everything is unity, it's perfect. When you think about this as a God and as a creator, you begin to understand how it's a paradoxical problem. Because when you are in complete unity, it's just the darkness. And in order to appreciate the darkness, you must add light, creating separation. And through that separation, we have contrast. Now, this is the concept you have to begin to wrap your head around before you can begin to understand what is going on in our current day society. There is a massive wave of new consciousness, and this new consciousness is going to spur drastic change. It's going to fundamentally wipe out all of the entire old systems and ways of thinking. But let's circle back to the creator aspect. When you, as a creator, want to test your powers, test your abilities, the best way to do that would be to create an adversary. You would have to create an opposing force that could test your abilities. Otherwise, how could you test your limitlessness, your all-knowing? So it begins to make a lot of sense. We are all gods with amnesia. And science is not discovering new things, it's remembering the things we forgot. Different civilizations have tried to set up different mythologies and different ideologies, but they all derive from the same source. They're just using bits and pieces for their own benefit. And you begin to see this when you look at religion on a major scale. There's many elements that are not openly expressed as welcoming. There's things in Christianity, for instance, that are considered demonic, satanic. And when you begin to really understand how effective fear is at controlling the masses, things start to just make sense. You just start to connect pieces that were in front of your eyes the entire time, but you've been on autopilot. And you've been on autopilot for a few different reasons. The most prevalent probably being the fact that there were so many conditions placed upon your love at one point in time. Whether it was growing up with a parent or sibling, or you experienced some instance where there was a condition placed. And it was, if you don't get good grades, I won't feel XYZ, or, you know, you won't be worth this. You see all of these, you see it a lot in the parent dynamic, but it can be applied through any type of situation to where a condition is placed upon receiving that love. And then you subconsciously begin to think that that's what love is, that love comes with conditions, that love should come with conditions. So you become conditioned to believe that, and you seek out conditioned love. You don't seek out unconditional love, because very rarely do we ever experience unconditional love. For most of us, we don't experience unconditional love until the moment we have a child. See, we think we feel unconditional love, but until that other sentient being, that other soul comes into this world and it hits you that you created this is your creation, you begin to see things differently. You will kill for this child. You will do anything you need to do. By any means, you will get it done to preserve that child. A lot of us can't say the same for our partners or spouses, because it's a different type of love. Ideally, you would want to have unconditional love for everybody. That's not going to happen overnight, but I think it's something that you can definitely work towards. You got to understand that every element of our reality is based upon control. Control in the sense that without control, there's chaos. So there has to be a sandbox. And inside of that sandbox has to be a sandbox and a sandbox and a sandbox. There has to be an infinite amount of pockets, realities. That way, no one person could really do substantial damage. And if they do, it is because it was meant to happen. It was meant to be part of somebody's destiny, because you have to understand there is such thing as necessary evil in this world. There are things that we do, there are bad things that have to happen in order for the good to prevail. Righteousness is a measurement of the ability to withstand that which is not righteous. So how is it that you could have righteousness without evil? You have to begin to understand that perfection brings uniformity, it brings darkness. Only through separation can you begin to experience. And when you begin to think about what life is, what gifts we have been given to taste, to smell, to hear, to see. A lot of us take these gifts for granted, especially sight. And I myself am realizing how dependent I am upon my sight. And I've been working to cultivate my other senses. I've been basking in darkness, because we all initially come from a place of darkness and love. Inside of our mother's womb, darkness and love. Then we're thrusted out into the world full of fluorescent lights and souls who got who knows what going on at home and carrying all that negative energy. And that's what we're exposed to as a child, just coming out of the womb, so pure. And then from that instance on, we have to figure out the conditions in which other people place upon us. And so you get to a point to where your energy becomes like a knot. And it's this knotted ball of yarn. And you are not even sure whose energy is intertangled with yours. You're not even sure if you like what you do. You don't even know why you do what you do. You're just doing things and not even questioning them because you are conditioned to do so. Conditioning has been a process that has been thousands of years in the making. All of these systems have becoming more and more perfected by the day. Every day, we give them more data on how to make the system stronger, how to suppress ourselves more. And we make it so easy because we're predictable. See, we're predictable when we're driven by fear. When we move out of love, it's a whole different ball game. See, because when you move out of love, when you begin to shift your consciousness to a place of abundance and understanding that you have everything you need, but you would still like to evolve, then you begin to understand the entire picture. Life is about experience. Life is about experiencing yourself. Imagine going out into the street and picturing yous, nothing but yous. You big, you fat, you small, skinny, you blonde hair, you whatever. Just imagine that. And then when you go and you move throughout your reality, I want you to think about how you interact with yourself. And really ask yourself if you are showing yourself love. There should be no reason you fear anything that breathes the same air as you. You are a God. You are a creator. You create your reality through your thoughts. And if you can't wrap your head around that, you got to take some more time to really think about what I'm saying. Because when you say something is impossible, what you're really saying is bring forth the reality in which that is impossible. This is what you're saying. So how can you not understand? That's exactly what you're creating. You're creating the reality in which that thing is actually not possible. You're not even going to be tuned in to what's right in front of your face. You're already not tuned in to what's right in front of your face. So why would you expect it to be any different? You as an individual are not special and do not take priority over any sentient or non-sentient life in the universe. Everyone is on an equal plane, whether you want to see it that way or not. And if you can't wrap your head around that, once again, let's go back to the concept of perfection. We understand that perfection leads to uniformity. 100% of the pie. It's complete. We don't need another pie. It's perfect. Perfect plane, perfect phone, perfect camera. We don't need anything else. Why would these products evolve if we have the perfect one? If we had the perfect species? Do you really seem to think that the universal intelligence couldn't have created a perfect race? A perfect species that lives in perfect harmony, doesn't argue, do you really believe, or could you be so naive to think that the universal intelligence wasn't capable of creating that? That's false. The universal intelligence understands that you need an opposing side. You need a Satan. You need contrast in order to experience life. And that's what this is all about. It's just about experiencing, being in the moment, embracing all the things around you, being appreciative of the air you breathe, the fire in your stomach, the earth you walk on, the ground, the rain, all these elements that we take for granted. Why? We're so caught up in ourselves. But the crazy part is, we don't even know who we are. Who are you? When you strip yourself down to the essence, take away the beliefs, take away the political views, take away the race, take away all the boxes, down to the essence of who you are and what you stand for and what your purpose is here on this dimension, this plane. Who are you? Do you know who you are? If an answer didn't come to your mind, you have some inner work to do. You have to find yourself. And if you have already found yourself, but are scared to put yourself back together because you've been living in misery so long that your ego says, that changed? Nah, I'm good on that, homie. You can keep that. You got to understand the difference between the two, between your ego and your spirit. And you have to understand that you have to act as a mediator and sit in between the two and determine how much you want to spend. When you look at your energy as money, if you start off your day with 1,000 units of energy, let's say you get up and you forgot to plug your charger in all the way. So you thought your phone was charging, but it's completely dead. You slept through your alarms. You already running late for work. Your boss done called you, blowing up your phone, wondering where you at. Now you panicked. You just decided to get into your emotions, right? And so you paid 300 units. I know it should have only been worth about 5, but you just gave the dude the debit card, said run it. All right. You down to 500 units. You ain't even left your front door. You on your way to work, somebody cut you off. You lose your shit. You flipping out, angry, got up, worked up. The person done drove off, and you still here with all this huffing and puffing, and you. Now you down to, let's say you spend another 100 on that, 150. You down to what? 400, 350? You ain't even got to your job yet. You don't even like this job. You just do it so you can get money to survive. You go into the plantation. They giving you some money in exchange for services. You don't even like what you do. But you driving on in there, you know what I mean? And as soon as you get in, your boss already don't want to hear what you got to say, already on you. There goes your 300 units. You down to 50. Now something else happened. Now you in the negative. And when you in the negative, you negative. So now you done dipped into your overdrawn, right? Your overdrawn savings or overdrawn line of credit. So now you just going negative and negative and negative because you ain't putting nothing back in yourself. You ain't giving yourself no energy, right? You just you kicking yourself while you down. So instead, now, let's say the day's over, you get to sleep. Oh man, wake up, feel so refreshed. Actually, you didn't get that good of sleep. Oh damn, you thought you was gonna get 1,000 units of energy. Sorry, buddy. Today it's only 500. So now you back in the hole because you got to pay back the overdrawn negative that you paid too much for, that you paid way too much for, got robbed on. So now you left with nothing. So guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna tap back into that negative, because that's all you got. You only got that overdrawn line of credit. So you're gonna get right back on that. And it's a never ending cycle. You see how you'll die in debt that way? You gotta treat your energy like money. You gotta pay realistic amounts for situations and stop giving people your debit card, your PIN, and your zip code and letting them just go to town and spend all your energy. You have to take that damn card back, cut it up, get a new one, all right? And don't give that to nobody. You hold on to that. You be responsible and understand that you get to decide what you pay. If you don't want to pay something, don't pay it. Simple as that. Leave it there. If somebody flips you off, somebody cuts you off, if you don't want to pay nothing, leave it there. Leave it at the store. Don't even put it into your shopping cart. Don't put it into your ship. Once you put it in there, it's with you. Once you accept it, it's yours. It's part of your reality that you accepted and let in, that you paid for. Don't pay for it. Leave it there. Let somebody else pay for it. You keep going about your business. Right? Keep your 1,000 units. And if you got to pay some, pay it 5. 5 units. Something realistic. You can't be scared to live life. You can't be scared to live up to your greatness. We are all meant to evolve. We're not meant to be perfect. We're meant to evolve. And so while we can't achieve perfection, we can get pretty damn close. And we should all try to get close. Because by each of us striving for perfection, the world will be a better place. But this starts on an internal level. If people are ugly on the inside, we're going to live in an ugly world on the outside. The external is a reflection of the internal. And so you have to understand, you got to get yourself right before you can do anything, before you can even begin to truly live. You have to make yourself whole. You have to love yourself, embrace yourself, take care of yourself. Because nobody else is going to do that for you. So, thank you for spending this time with me. Tune back in for the next series.